No mainstream British political party is more comfortable with the rhetoric of unionism than the Conservatives. It never takes long before Tory ministers, confronted with some challenge or other from Irish, Scottish or Welsh nationalists, fall back on the mantra that they represent the Conservative and Unionist Party. Theresa May does this all the time. The implication is always the same. The Union is axiomatically safe in Tory hands, because they, the Tories, uniquely understand and are uniquely committed to it. Except, this week, they showed that they don't and they aren't. There have been multiple humiliations of government Brexit policy this week. There is a luxurious display of catastrophes to choose from. They range from the jaw-dropping confession by Philip Hammond that the Cabinet has never ever, in 18 months since the referendum, held a single discussion about what kind of Brexit it seeks, to the air rushing rudely and loudly out of the whoopee cushion of David Davis's Trump, who claims to be one of the negotiating masters of the universe after he admitted that he had conducted not a single assessment of the impact of Brexit on any sector of the UK economy. Yet perhaps the most damning failure of a disastrous week for May is the evidence that the modern Conservative Party simply does not understand any of the cultural contours of Britain. It is not a surprise that a lot of Conservatives don't like abroad, or that they dislike the EU in particular. But the more extreme failure is that they don't get Northern Ireland, or the Irish Republic either. They tend to forget Scotland. They don't really think about Wales at all. Gibraltar, whose Union Jack the Conservatives will always loudly pledge to defend, never so much as enters their minds, though in Brexit terms it is part of this country too. And if they don't get any of these places right, they don't really get England right either. The desire to leave the EU, it became clear this week, is based not just on a failure to understand Europe but on a profound set of misconceptions about these islands. The two failures are umbilically linked, which is why Brexit is a profound threat not just to relations with Ireland but to the Union itself. Inside the EU, both Ireland and Northern Ireland are part of the single market and customs union, so share the same regulations and standards, allowing a soft or invisible border between the two. Britain's exit from the EU, taking Northern Ireland with it, risks a return to a hard or policed border. The only way to avoid this post-Brexit is for regulations on both sides to remain more or less the same in key areas including food, animal welfare, medicines and product safety. Early drafts of the agreement Britain hoped to get signed off on Monday said there would be no divergence from EU rules that support North-South cooperation, later changed to continued alignment in a formulation that appeared to allow for subtle divergences. But it raised new questions about who would oversee it and how disputes might be resolved. It was also clearly still a step too far for the DUP.